Welcome to Her Health First, the podcast where Black women's health is centered, respected, and protected. I'm Traci. I'm a registered nurse, a healthcare advocate, and a woman who knows firsthand what it feels like to carry too much while navigating a system that was not built with us in mind. Here, we talk about real health, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the systemic. We unpack what doctors don't always explain. We name what women are often dismissed for, and we learn how to advocate for ourselves without guilt or fear. This is your space to breathe, to learn, and to put your health first. Let's get into today's episode. Hey y'all, and welcome back to Her Health First. So there's a moment that happens in exam rooms that rarely gets talked about. And that moment is right before you decide whether or not you're going to speak up. That's the point where the provider has just said something that doesn't quite sit right with you. Maybe they're moving too fast. Maybe you feel as though they've dismissed or are dismissing a symptom. Or maybe they're already halfway out the door, because we all know how that goes. And in that moment, your body does something. Your chest tightens, your mouth goes dry, and your thoughts start racing. You start to rehearse the sentence in your head. You edit it because the first version wasn't quite right. You soften it because you don't want it to land too hard. Then you consider letting it go altogether. And very often, that sentence never leaves your brain. You choose silence. And you choose silence not because you don't care, not because you don't know your body, but you choose silence because you've learned that sometimes speaking up comes with consequences. Self-advocacy is often framed as a confidence issue, as if all you need is the right script, the right tone, and the right posture. But the truth of the matter is, difficulty advocating in medical spaces is rarely about communication skills. What it's about really is history. It's about past experiences of being dismissed, rushed, or talked over. It's about power dynamics that make patients feel small. It's about social conditioning that teaches women to be agreeable, polite, and grateful. For Black women especially, advocacy is complicated by fear of being labeled difficult, dramatic, or non-compliant. So many women learn early that being easy feels safer than being honest. And over time, that safety strategy becomes silent. Let's talk about what's happening in the body when you try to speak up. When your nervous system senses threat, even a subtle threat, it shifts into protection mode. Protection mode can look like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. In medical settings, many women default to either freeze or fawn. Freeze sounds like I can't think of what to say. Fawn sounds like it's probably fine. You're right. Or I don't want to be a problem. This is not weakness. This is biology. This is your body responding to past experiences and perceived power imbalances, not your actual ability to advocate. Understanding this is key because self-advocacy starts with safety, not bravery. One of the biggest barriers to advocacy is the belief that speaking up is confrontational, that you have to be assertive in a way that feels sharp or uncomfortable. But advocacy doesn't have to sound like that. Advocacy doesn't have to sound aggressive to be effective. Advocacy can sound curious. Advocacy can sound calm. Advocacy can sound steady. Advocacy is simply clarity. It's naming what you're experiencing. It's asking for understanding. It's slowing the conversation down. You are not challenging authority. You are participating in your care. So let's get practical here because language matters. Advocacy can sound like, I'm still concerned about this symptom. I don't feel reassured yet. Can you explain that in a different way? Or what are the next steps if this doesn't improve? If something is being dismissed, it can sound like, I understand what you're saying, but my experience feels different. If you're being rushed, you can say, I need a moment to ask my remaining questions. If you're unsure, you can say, I'm not comfortable making a decision yet. And remember, you don't owe anyone politeness at the expense of your clarity. Sometimes advocacy feels impossible to do alone. So that's where support comes in. Support can look like many different things. Support can look like bringing a trusted person to appointments so you have a second set of ears and eyes. Support can look like writing questions down ahead of time because we all know a lot of times we get in the doctor's office and we forget 90% of the questions we were going to ask. Support can look like asking for notes or after visit summaries. And support can look like requesting another opinion. Advocacy is definitely not a solo performance. It's a system of support. So remember, needing help doesn't mean you're failing. Needing help means you're human. Your voice matters, even when it shakes. Your questions matter, even when they feel inconvenient. Your body's signals matter even when they don't fit neatly into a chart. You are not too much. You're not asking for too much. You are not difficult for wanting to understand what's happening in your body. Self-advocacy isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Before you go, I want to remind you that your body is not the problem. Your questions are not too much, and your health deserves time, attention, and care. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with a woman who needs the reminder that she's not alone. And if you haven't already, follow the podcast so these conversations can continue showing up for you. Until next time, take a breath, take your time, and remember, her health comes first.